Well, we're going to see the biggest year of hopefully my career. 2023, we're going to get them big fights that the fans really crave. First of all, let's talk about Usyk, because now I can. Before, everyone once asked me a million questions about Usyk when I've got Chisora to beat. And as we see tonight, Chisora's no easy pushover for anybody. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm willing to take on Usyk next, whether it's going to be in Saudi Arabia or back here in the UK. It's both places will be fantastic. And let's give the fans one champion, one name, one face. Usyk's up for the challenge. He came over tonight, so fair play to him. He's not an easy boxer to figure out. He's a slick southpaw mover with very good skills, Olympic gold medalist, and he's coming on some good form, so I'm really looking forward to the challenge. But for whatever reason, like I say, a lot of big fights, and Bob's here, he's 125 years old, and he can tell you himself, sometimes the big fights sometimes don't happen for whatever reason. But I've got a good feeling this one's going to happen. But if it doesn't for X, Y or Z reasons, then we'll have Joe Joyce at Wembley next year as well. But providing the Usyk one does happen, then I'll do him and then I'll have Joe Joyce as well at Wembley. Why not? For sure. And people have been asking me all night, like, who's a tougher fight, Usyk or Joyce? And in my opinion, Usyk's a slicker boxer, but Joe Joyce is a juggernaut. And I think that Joe gives me a tougher fight than Usyk. 100%. Big Joe, 6'7" and 19.5 stone, like a juggernaut coming forward at me, trying to smash me to pieces, or Usyk trying to steal a jab running around the ring, trying to nick a point here and there. So I think that Usyk's a very good fighter. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's the undisputed cruiserweight champion, and he's the unified heavyweight champion. So he's had a fantastic career, but I think that I do a job on him. And I can't just think it. I don't just want to talk it. I want to prove it. So let's get that one on. But like I say, I do think the biggest challenge out there for me is Joe Joyce, the juggernaut. And I'm mentioning him a lot because I'm very impressed with where he's been and where he's come from. The guy should be Olympic gold medalist. He got ripped off in the final, in my opinion. And he's done everything asked of him. He's beat Brian Jennings, a world-class fighter, Daniel Dubois, world-class fighter, and my good friend Joe Parker, another world-class fighter. So he's mandatory ready. And like I say, if Usyk can't be made, then we'll do the juggernaut and we'll give him a clash of titans for sure. Yeah, listen, he's a tough old boy, Derek, and I got to commend him. I got to tip my hat to Derek Chisora because he's an absolute warrior, and he took a lot of heavy punches. Maybe they left him in too long, but I was very happy when the referee stopped it. He took enough, you know what I mean? He was tired and shipping a lot of heavy blows, and we're not in there to do serious damage to each other. It's a boxing match, and I was happy to see it finished. So yeah, big shout out to Derek Chisora as well. Don't forget, I retired back in April, and I really meant it, hand on heart. Frank was trying to come to me with exhibition fights, Frank, wasn't we? Yeah, and I just said I don't want to box anymore. And I had 4 months of that, living at home with Paris and the kids and the dog and all that sort of stuff, the normal family life. And I suppose when you've been in the spotlight like I have and been heavyweight champion for so long and been boxing your whole life nearly, it's very difficult to live a normal life. And I always said, I just want to live a normal life, just leave me alone in Morecambe Bay driving me old Passat round. But when I think about it, I'm anything but normal. I'm an abnormal load. So I have to, this is what I do. This is who I am. And this is what has defined me as a person. And if it wasn't, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be winning fights. I wouldn't have won 34 fights in a row with 24 knockouts. Get up. And there we are. I'm an entertainer. It's what I love. My dad had a good point recently. He said, Tyson is like Frankenstein's monster. He thrives on energy of the crowd and the people. A bit like the old gladiators from the Roman theatres and stuff to the crowd. That's me. I come alive. And I sap it all up like a sponge. And it makes me feel like I want to be alive. I love this. I'm living on the edge of my seat. It's the only thing that I can do that gives me happiness, sadness, scared, nerves. And I said to the boys, like, in the changing room, I really, really love where I am. Like, this is my comfort zone. And they're like, what? Be 60,000 people screaming your name and you got to go fight one-on-one with somebody. I said, yes, that's where I thrive. That's my life. That's what I live for. But at 34, and my cousin Caesar said, you're only in your prime. I think he's right. I'm getting better with age, like a fine wine. But we'll see. We'll see. One fight at a time. And that's all we can do. One fight at a time. For me, my life, I struggle in all the time. But I set short-term goals. And I don't mean massive goals. And short-term, like day-to-day things. And I just take one day at a time. And I'm very happy to be alive and well. And if there is anybody out there, which I know there's a lot of people suffering, then it ain't always going to be like that. Look at me. I was 400 and odd pounds, 3 years out the ring. Nobody in the world thought I was going to... I didn't even believe I was going to come back. I thought I was going to end up in a padded room somewhere. But yeah, I changed my life around, and here I am. I got back to the top of the heavyweight division when everybody wrote me off. And it just shows you that nothing is out of reach and anything is possible as long as you have faith.
And I've got to
Get me in there. I'm like a high-paid escort.
Right.
Show me the money and let's roll. Let's rock and roll. Innit, Bob? We're not in this game for nothing. We're here to get paid and get laid. Come on!